same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks ending higher to close out a strong week with both the Nasdaq and S&P 500 notching their fifth straight session of gains as investors get in gear for next week's decision on interest rates from the Fed. It's widely expected that the central bank will be lowering interest rates by 25 basis points. The Fed has been keeping its benchmark interest rate at a 2-decade high in hopes of tackling hot inflation. All 11 of the S&P 500 sectors ending in the green, with tech the biggest winner. The Dow up 297 points, the Nasdaq up 114, S&P 500 higher by 30. And shares of Trump Media and Technology Group jumped 12% after former President Donald Trump said he's not selling his shares of the company that operates the Truth social media platform that he created. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
It's time to take the quiz.
5 questions, 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week.
History, pop culture, science, sports, civics. How much do you know? Let's find out.
Who was the first person to walk on the moon?
Jackson or something?
Neil Armstrong.
Take the quiz every weekday at thequiz.fox and then listen to the quiz podcast to find out how you did.
Play, share, and of course listen to the quiz right now at The Quiz.
King Scott here, and I'm with John Lang, owner of Mount Top Motor Company. John, tell us about the latest sales you guys have going on.
King, we don't have one.
What? You're an auto dealership. You have to have some kind of sale going on.
Nope, no quote, unquote sale going on at our place. And you know why?
Why?
Because usually those sales promotion at other dealerships, they're BS, man. Most of the time they're robbing Peter to pay Paul somewhere, and we don't play those games at Mountaintop. We're not about sales, we're about true savings.
I like that. No sales, just savings. You're saying come in, check out the inventory, and you guys will prove that your pricing is always super competitive.
Correct. We've got so much great inventory in the lot right now. Many vehicles starting at $15,000 or lower. And with our great prices, we're confident we can get you set up the right way.
You heard it. Great pricing, great inventory, great people to work with. And there's a reason Mount Top Motor Company has over 1,000 5-star reviews. Please don't settle for just any dealership. Aim higher and go visit the good guys in Troy. MountTopMotors.com, Facebook, and Instagram.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Nick Cope.
Who's in, who's out on this NFL Sunday? Lions receiver Jameson Williams is expected to play through an ankle injury. Chargers receiver Joshua Palmer is trending to play despite a knee injury. Colts receiver Josh Downs considered a toss-up to play. He's dealing with a high ankle sprain. Also in that matchup, Packers receiver Jaden Reed is expected to play through a calf injury. Bengals not expected to have T. Higgins for the second consecutive week. He's still dealing with a hamstring injury. Bears receivers Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze are both considered game-time decisions. ESPN says Odunze is expected to play, and Allen, if he is cleared to go, would likely get a light workload. NFL media says Tua Tagovailoa has no plans to retire and has already begun meeting with specialists after suffering his latest concussion Thursday night.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 69 overnight tonight. Monday's high will be in the lower 90s, overcast clouds likely. Temperatures in the lower 90s forecast on Tuesday. Currently in Troy it's 76. In Warrenton it's 72 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Well, good Sunday morning. It is time for Uncensored Wrestling Talk here in the new Gateway Fiber Studios here on News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO, on the KYRO Facebook page, Traveling East Productions, Facebook, YouTube, Rumble. Go like and subscribe. And, of course, also on the Uncensored Wrestling Talk Facebook page. Get your questions and your comments in. Join in on the conversations this morning. And, of course, as always, in studio with me, Superfan Tim Williams.
Good morning, everyone.
And also, our referee, the one and only HD Daniels.
Hello.
Yes. Hey, it's a nice morning this morning, but you know what? It's a little humid outside. I could do without the humidity. What do you think?
I mean, the weather's still pretty nice. I mean, did we have rain last night?
I don't think so.
But
I don't think so.
It was a nice day. I fired up the old pit bot yesterday and did some pork ribs, country ribs, and
get this guy. Look at this guy going, not even inviting us over. Right. What's up with that, HD?
He probably gets enough of us every Sunday morning.
Hey, before I forget, how's the head today?
You know what? It's feeling a little bit better today compared throughout the week. The head has been swimmy at times, a little bit of fog, a little bit of memory loss at times too, like short-term memory loss type thing. Can't remember where I put my keys type thing when I've never had problems like that before. Thanks a lot, Skyler. I appreciate that. But speaking of that, World League Wrestling did post that video of what happened, and it got posted to the KYRO Facebook page as well, and it's gotten a lot of a lot of looks, a lot of watches, a lot of views, and a lot of comments on it, and I would say about 98.5% of them unfavorably towards Skylar Sparks. But, you're going to do stuff like that, you got to expect stuff like that,
Well, you're lucky your head didn't get busted open.
Well,
I mean, it was a mic to the head.
Yeah.
And there's only a little bit of foam protecting the top of that mic. If that would have been off, you could have been gashed.
Well, yeah. Could have been.
Still angry.
Well, it's for me, I got to let it be water under the bridge because there's jobs to do still, gentlemen. I mean, it just is. That's the way that it goes. And HD, this in wrestling, the show's got to go on, right?
Yes, sir.
So
unless we can get you some personal security or something. Well,
that would probably be nice. That would be nice, actually. I wonder who we could get for that.
Well, Aiden's carrying a pipe, so.
Well, he's got an attitude issue.
He might turn around and hit you also.
Exactly. So I don't think that's going to happen. Real quick, I want to say thank you to our sponsors. World League Wrestling, the house that Harley Race built. The next live event is going to be October the 5th, Brawl Hallows Eve. What an interesting name for this one. I mean, yeah, it's beginning of October, Halloween, all that kind of stuff, but I don't think there's ever been anything called Brawl Hallows Eve before. It's got kind of an eerie connotation to it.
I think it goes along with the themes of what we've been seeing in WLW lately.
Yeah, I think you're right. And tickets for this event went on sale yesterday. So now is the time to go as soon as the show is over. Go to HarleyRace.com and get your tickets now. Do not wait, because if you wait, I've said it 1,000 times before, and I'll say it 1,000 more. If you wait until the day of the event, you could very well get turned away.
Absolutely. The event's going to be hot. Might be a little bit cooler outside, but once you get inside that arena, it's going to go bananas.
Yeah, very much so. HD?
Yeah, we've had a really good crowd the last couple of shows, actually most of this year, so we really hope that you support us, buy tickets, and come see us.
That's right. I mean, just two shows ago, it was a double sellout. Yep. And you know what? I don't think that's the first time that's going to happen. I mean, the last time that's going to happen, to be quite honest about it.
Let's hope not.
So
Yeah, October 5th, the hottest ticket in town is right at the Wrestling Academy.
and we're also just right around the corner, honestly, from the I'm going to call it excuse me, the most important wrestling show for World League Wrestling, and that is WLW 25 on November the 2nd, because this is the 25th year anniversary of World League Wrestling.
Wow, that's going to be a special event. Can't wait to see. Hopefully, Camaro is going to be okay. You know, now that it was posted on the Facebook page, even WLW Facebook page, you can go see what happened after the match with Aiden. Again, just.
Well, I mean, since it's been posted now, we can really dive into it if you guys want to.
Right.
Because, you know, he had a match at the last event with All Day Aiden Riley. And he wasn't going into that match 100% because he had just been attacked at the last event with that crazy steel pipe from Aiden Riley.
Right. Yeah. Is just with you being the referee.
Yes, sir.
Have you heard anything from the committee or anything about what Steve did and what if there's going to be any ramifications against him?
You know what? That incident was so, I'm just to say violent and different. I'll say it was also different than what we've seen before. The committee, the office, the management, they're keeping everything very close to themselves. I'm not part of that. They're trying to decide exactly what needs to happen.
Well, here's the crazy thing about it for me. You know, with superstar Steve Fender, you know, he has held that WLW heavyweight championship, of course, coming up on, if it's not over 700 days, it's very close. But in all of this time that I've watched Superstar Steve, and actually you've been there for several years now, you can speak in on this too. You know, we've seen Superstar Steve do things nefariously. We've seen Superstar Steve do things the way that he wants to do them, but I have never seen him act and do like he did at the last event. I mean, he just had a different look in his eyes, even.
Why do you think that is?
You know what? I've got and this is just speculation, of course, but I've got a feeling that he feels like he hasn't been respected. But, I mean, how can you be respected if you're going around doing the things that you've been doing, right?
He could be fighting for some respect, but he has a new threat. Someone who just won that Rumble. Maybe he's a little scared.
You said it, not me, brother.
I'm just putting it out there. I didn't. Just a question.
You said it, not me. That's
it even goes back to the Clash of Champions. A lot of people were rooting for EC3 against Superstar Steve.
There were. I
know it was a split crowd, but there was a lot of chance for EC3 going that night, and maybe he feels slighted that we don't like him.
Well, I would say that it was at least a 50-50 crowd.
It was. I was surprised because although Steve is who Steve is, the WLW crowd still wanted their hometown champion to beat the NWA champion.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember. Yeah. You were the referee for that one.
Yes, sir.
That's what I thought. You know. So comparing before Night of Champions and after Night of Champions, when do you think that this, I guess you could call it change or an uptick in the levels, I guess, has occurred with Superstar Steve? Because you have reffed a lot of his matches.
Most of them. You know, this addition of Aiden Riley as his assistant, sidekick, partner in crime, whatever he is.
Yeah.
I think it's given him he's a little more comfortable being a little more violent lately. So, right around, I don't know, a couple months ago when his violence really picked up.
So basically right after Night of Champions. Then.
Possibly, yeah.
But something about the what happened to Camaro that I also noticed was Aiden left. He left Superstar Steve in there by himself.
Well, you know what?
But Steve was taking care of everybody that came around. But I know he got hit pretty hard by Camaro. But I was surprised he didn't at least hang around ringside to see how it's supposed to be done.
Well, I know he tried to attack Camaro Jackson after that was all.
So in the video, he does go after Camaro for a couple seconds.
And Camaro pushes him out of the ring.
Yeah, he wasn't having any of that.
I believe Aiden needed some medical attention after that match.
Yeah, I think he hit his head. I think he hit his head pretty hard on that fall out of the ring.
So, after he went after Camaro, I think he needed to just go back.
Because if that hadn't have happened like it did, I think Aiden Riley would have been right in there with Superstar Steve, laying that dang lead pipe to everybody.
Right.
But Superstar Steve, he put the boots to Camaro, but he also put the boots to the Legacy, Leland Race, when Leland jumped in there and was trying to get him to stop doing what he was doing. Man, I've not seen, again, the look in the eyes of Superstar Steve like that before. It was scary.
Yeah, and those two go way back, whether they're friends today or not. They've been training wrestling together for years.
Yep.
And I don't know where their friendship stands today, but Steve went after Leland.
He did.
You might end up with a nice Leland-Steve match and see who could chop the hardest. That might answer your question that you ask everybody.
Well, I mean, it's true, because I really, truly believe that Superstar Steve and the Legacy, they've got some of the hardest chops in the business right now.
Yeah.
And holy moly.
Yep.
That would be something to see, but it leaves in question now of so Camaro Jackson, he did win that Door to Destiny Rumble, and he gets the shot at WLW 25 against Superstar Steve, but with the lead pipe shot, and now with this crazy beatdown that Superstar Steve, you've really got to wonder, and you've really got to question how healthy Camaro Jackson is going to be going into that match. And we've got about 2 months, about a month and a half or so, but things take time to heal.
Regardless of his condition, either mentally or medically, Camaro will be there, and he'll give 110%.
Yeah, I would agree with that for sure.
Well, even Austin Moodley Tyler had a interesting post that he put out the day after it, and even Austin's upset about what happened after the match.
Yeah.
And he basically said karma's out there and it's going to turn around and bite Steve in the behind.
Yeah, for sure. Well, you know what, gentlemen, we are up against our very first break of the show, and we're going to take that. But when we come back, we're going to dive in a little bit more of what happened at that event, because there was people around that ring too. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna hold on to that little nugget just for a minute. We're gonna take a break, and when we come back, we'll jump right back into it.
24-hour towing and recovery in Lincoln, Warren, Pike, or St. Charles County. Call B&B Towing, 636-262-3865. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. B&B will be on the way, 636-262-3865.
People's Bank and Trust is helping you get a grip on your finances with our new mobile banking service. You can now manage your accounts, check balances, transfer funds, and pay bills all from the palm of your hand. Visit us online at pbtc.net for more information and to start using mobile banking. People's Bank and Trust, hometown banking the way it should be. Follow us on Facebook and Twitter, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Trax Pizza. Outstanding pizzas, sandwiches, and pasta. Dine in, carry out, or delivery. Open daily at 3 p.m. Order online at TraxPizzaCompany.com. Call 264-8600 or come see us on Main Street in historic downtown Winfield. Trax Pizza, 264-8600.
Well, welcome back to Uncensored Wrestling Talk here in the Gateway Fiber Studios here on News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO. And also, of course, on all the Facebook and YouTube and Rumble feeds that we've got, KYRO, Traveling East Productions, Uncensored Wrestling Talk. Go like and subscribe. Join us with your your conversation or with our conversations this morning, questions, comments, anything you want. We'll take a look at those, and if they're good and they're clean, hey, we'll talk. We'll talk. So, HD, you were in the ring when that beatdown began with Superstar Steve, and you jumped out of the ring, and I don't blame you one bit for that, but we did see several of the other wrestlers come out as well, like Austin Militalo, like Blade Lennox, gentlemen that have been in the ring with Superstar Steve before, so they kind of know what Superstar Steve is about. But again, that demeanor of Superstar Steve was like no other that we've ever seen. Why do you think that none of them jumped in to try and help either Camaro or Leland?
I think it's good you asked this question because other people are asking this question. When it started to go down, I mean, I've been around for some beatdowns before. I tried to stop Steve. I tried to turn him around, listen to reason. The match was over. He wasn't proving anything. But then when I tried to stop him a couple times. The last time I tried to stop him, he gave me this look like, if you don't leave, I'm going to hurt you too. Oof. So for my own safety, I had to back out. I ran to the back to get some help. There were guys ready to run out with me to try and get it to stop. But when we got out there was something in the air. Like, we better not go in there. We'll try to talk to them, but for our own safety, everyone's safety of the group, we couldn't go in there. I don't know if people couldn't see that in the video, or maybe when they were there in the arena they didn't understand. But ringside, it's different when you're on the other side of the barricade. Mm-hmm. Having that barricade between you and the ring, there's a sense of comfort, I suppose. But when you're there and you can touch the ring and you can see what's going on, it's hard to put it into words. It was frightening.
Yeah.
I know from obviously on the other side of the barricade, I was yelling and screaming, trying to get one of the two guys to jump into the ring and help. Now, you're right, the way Steve looked, they very well could have met the same fate as Camaro.
Right.
I mean, Leland met the same fate as Camaro.
Yeah.
So I kind of understand why they didn't, but it was also, it just kept going and going and going.
Yeah, that beatdown went for a good 10, 15 minutes at least.
It was uncomfortable, right?
Yeah.
We just didn't know. We didn't know what to do, to be honest. So.
Well, it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting to see what happens October the 5th, Brawl Hallows Eve, and even more interesting for November the 2nd, WLW 25.
Absolutely.
Wow. All right, let's jump into some other things, shall we?
Let's lighten the mood.
TV deals and TV situations going on right now. So, Monday Night Raw, NXT, and SmackDown are all on the USA Network for now. At the beginning of October, in fact, on the 1st of October, NXT moves over to the CW. Mm-hmm. And then at the end of the year, I believe, and you can check me on the date, I think it is January the 6th, when Monday Night Raw moves to Netflix. Now, between, I don't know exactly when it's going to start. I know that they had announced that Monday Night Raw is going to go to 2 hours here before very long and be 2 hours for the rest of the year. But then when they go to Netflix, they're going to go back to that 3-hour format.
When does Raw start 2 hours again?
It's either this coming Monday or the following Monday.
Yeah. Okay.
It's something along those lines. So either tomorrow, next week. It's one of these next couple of shows. I don't have a problem with them dropping the 3 hours down to the 2 hours because it seems like there's just not enough wrestling content in that 3 hours time frame. I think they've gotten better at it over the last year or so, but I think it's going to really make a difference when it goes to the 2 hours, and it's going to keep people's attention better, I think.
If you can write the show correctly, book the show correctly, 3 hours can be a fine wrestling show.
Sure.
You just got to do it the right way to keep fans engaged. I agree the last year has been better with that extra third hour. My personal favorite show of the week is Monday Night Raw. I think it's a better planned out show than SmackDown is, my opinion. But if they're going to drop that third hour, they really have to cram. I mean, the Raw roster's bigger.
Right.
True.
So they have to cram a lot more into that 2 hours, or have people on, maybe every other week or something like that.
I personally think I could see the roster being slimmed down for a while,
right?
And you ship some of them back to NXT to do some things, but you got TNA that they could make a little invasion on. I mean, you put someone like Karrion Kross over back in TNA to create some havoc. I bet that would be fun to watch.
I have been interested if they're going to send some main roster WWE types back to TNA, and fantasy booking, if you will. I'm wearing his shirt right now.
Go for it.
Man, AJ Styles. That would that would be the most amazing thing in my opinion. Somebody like that. But he's on SmackDown, I believe. Anyway.
Yeah, he's on SmackDown.
He is. But still,
but how much fun would it be for AJ to go back and capture that championship belt again?
That would be a fantasy dream come true for this fan.
For sure, absolutely. And it's Nick Nemeth right now.
Yeah.
That's holding on to that TNA World Championship, and not to get away from the TV stuff, but just for a moment, since we're talking about Nick Nemeth, I really believe that he has really his stock has really risen since he left WWE and went to New Japan and also TNA.
Yeah, I was thinking in my mind that formerly Ziggler, Nick Nemeth, was going to be one of those come in, make an appearance for a big show, and then leave TNA. Even though he won the belt, I was like, well, he'll probably hold on it for a month and then give it to Moose or something. But he's been in it for the long haul, cutting promos every show. I'm really enjoying it, and I think it's just what TNA needs, somebody with a name like that to be their champion.
Yeah, it seems like he's been reinvigorated. I know that probably when he was with the WWE, some of his storylines kind of got stale, and he kept getting pushed down to mid-level cards. So with him now being back at top, I mean, shoot, he went to NXT, won the championship, and that put a spark into him.
Right, correct. Yeah, he's got to have something to care about, a guy like that.
Right.
Well, also Dolph Ziggler and Nick Nemeth, when he was Dolph Ziggler in the WWE, towards his last year and a half, 2 years or so, it didn't really matter if he was in the mid-card or not, because, every time they needed somebody to step up and fill a huge role, even if it was just one match or a program, he was the one who would inevitably be the one to step up and take care of business.
Yeah, he would, hey, Dolph, we need you to do this really good match for us to put this guy over. And he did it.
For sure. Okay, so with those three things happening with WWE, Raw, SmackDown, and NXT going to CW, I really think when we get to January, the product on Raw is going to change.
How so?
I think you're going to see a little bit more violence. I think you're going to see a lot more language used that we're not used to hearing.
I've heard a lot of people say something like that, but we all have to remember there's a lot of children that watch WWE.
This is true.
So I don't know if they're going to come on and, F word this and S word that every promo or anything like that.
And it may not be all the time.
But I think everybody's kind of hoping that a little bit more of the Attitude Era comes back.
A little bit more of that edge.
Yep.
And edge is okay. And I think being on Netflix, if the crowd starts chanting, holy S,
right?
Or maybe in a promo, like a real angry promo or somebody slips a bad word or something like that. I think that'll fly, but I don't know if we're going to be seeing constant vulgarity.
Yeah,
and stuff like that.
Well, I'll be honest. For me, and this is just me personally, if nobody else feels like this, that's fine. It's no biggie. But for me, when they start cutting out audio because of the crowd,
it takes you out of the moment.
It does. It absolutely 100% does take you out of the moment, especially when your commentators are really doing a heck of a job.
Commentating has been pretty good in WWE, right? Lately, I agree.
And they just added to the Monday Night Raw, announce team, Joe Tessitore, who is an ESPN basically football guy and play-by-play person for ESPN. And I think in the first couple of weeks that he's been doing the job, I think he's starting to really pick it up.
Yeah, something like a Mark Marrow type of voice where it just brings a big fight feel to everything that's going on.
Yeah, for sure.
But what about Wade Barrett? I mean, he's stepped up his game. You know.
Yeah.
And that's really who I enjoy listening to because he's spot on with a lot of his stuff.
Yeah, I enjoy Wade Barrett a lot.
Now, I've heard good things from people, and I've heard bad things from people. I'm kind of middle of the road myself. But what do you guys think about the NXT team with Booker T in general?
I think the story is that Booker T became a commentator because he was backstage making fun of commentary in a way, like he watching the monitors and matches and being this crazy outlandish commentator type of guy, and hey Booker, you need to bring that to television. And when you watch NXT, he's that same person if the stories are true. So I don't know, is Booker T going overboard, or what do you guys think?
I don't. I think it's just Booker T.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got his own wrestling group, Reality of Wrestling. I listen to his podcast too, and that's just his nature. He gets wound up. He gets excited. He comes up with crazy words.
Shucky
and just
ducky quack quack.
Shucky ducky quack quack. And I like it. Now his partner at times is this little meek and timid guy, which I'd like to see him be a little bit loud. But
that gives to the
but it gives
the calm guy and then the outlandish guy,
right?
So,
well, I mean, that's kind of like Michael Cole and Pat McAfee, really, if you look at it, because Michael Cole's always been the calm one up until recently. The calm one, and Pat McAfee being the outlandish, get up on the table and yeet everywhere, and even before that, he was doing that with Shinsuke Nakamura and his music and everything.
Yeah, get up and play the guitar, air guitar when he's coming down.
and Michael Cole really came around and started doing things himself. So I guess there's a place for it. I mean, it's entertainment, right?
As long as the fans are entertained and nobody's bored with commentary, which I have been bored with commentary before.
Oh yeah, there's been many a times.
Yeah,
been many a times, and I say that as well. I mean, for our own showdown, World League Wrestling Showdown, it's a truly hard job to be a commentator for action going on. So I kind of stay in the middle road when it comes to commentators and stuff, because I do know that how hard of a job that it really truly is. So,
you like commentating?
There are teams that I do. I will say that there are teams that I like listening to more than others.
Do you like commentating for Showdown?
Oh, do I like? I love it.
Good.
I absolutely 100% love it. For me, you know what? I've said this 100 times, and I truly believe this. Doing radio shows, dream job. Doing commentating and interviewing, another dream job.
Right.
And I wouldn't change it for the world.
That's excellent.
Ever. So yeah, I mean, can it be better? Absolutely.
We can all be better.
For sure. For sure. So I bring up all the TV stuff for this next reason. AEW. So AEW has Dynamite on Wednesdays, Rampage on Fridays, Collision on Saturdays. They just inked a brand new deal with Time Warner. So you're thinking, okay, that's cool. They're going to stay on TV, going to stay on the same channels and all this sort of thing. But now there are rumors, and I'm not 100% sure how close they are. From some accounts that I have read, they're extremely close. they're in negotiations with, believe it or not, Fox, that just lost SmackDown to the USA Network. And from what I'm hearing, this show could very well be called Shockwave.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard a few rumblings about it. You know, I've heard anywhere that they're actually going to do matches, but I also heard that they might just do a recap of what's happened during the week. You know, it's one of those great if you want to recap, especially if you're trying to get Ring of Honor or Rampage more involved in what's going on there. It'd be a great place to kind of recap and show some stuff.
I don't know. For Fox, and from what I'm hearing, it could very well be on the Fox network itself or FS1. But if it's going to be on Fox, I would imagine that Fox would want not a recap show, but an actual show. You know what I mean?
Why do we know in articles or whatever why WWE left Fox? Did USA outbid them, or why did that
Pretty
happen?
much, yeah.
Okay. Because the original deal was like what, $1 billion?
Yeah.
So USA, I don't know all those details, but
well, it was a 5-year contract.
Yeah, it was a 5-year contract for $1 billion.
I think at the end of the day, because they were moving, they got the $5 million contract to Netflix.
Oh no, it's way more than $5 million, my friend. It's like $10 billion.
Yeah, 10 years, something billions of dollars.
Something like that. Yeah.
Right. And I think the WWE probably said, "Hey, we need to keep something on the USA."
But if it doesn't make financial sense, they would have stayed on Fox.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Well, also I have heard, and I don't know how true this is, but this is coming from Fox. They were losing money on the SmackDown deal as well. So that could be another reason why, Fox didn't really push as hard to keep SmackDown. So
I know that they were saying that there were spikes anytime Roman Reigns showed up, but
sure,
when he was only there once a month
or once every couple of months,
then you'd go through a lull, and then all of a sudden it would spike again because Roman Reigns showed up.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm. But if you're losing money, you're losing money.
Right.
And if you're losing money over a very long period of time, you've got to look at your options. And if that means you've got to cut the ties, then you've got to cut the ties.
Yeah, I guess I'm wondering, did Fox want wrestling back with WWE? Do we... they're going to USA, obviously. That's been announced. But does Fox, if what you're saying is true, they want AEW. So I guess they like wrestling? I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hearing. So... But here's the next thing. So you've got Dynamite, you've got Collision, you've got Rampage, and let's just go ahead and throw it in there. You've got Shockwave on the Fox, right? I think, but this is just personally, but I think one of those shows has got to go away. Maybe Rampage. Or you could turn Rampage into, like what you were talking about, Superfan, is turning it into a recap. But if that's the case, then Rampage has to be the last show of the week, right?
Right.
So you've got Dynamite on Wednesday, you've got Collision on Saturday nights, who is, you know what? Saturday nights right now, you've got college football going on. You've got many other different sporting events that are going to be going on. Playoffs, baseball playoffs are going to start. The NFL. We're going to have Saturday night games as well. That's a lot of hard competition to go up against.
What I would like to see from AEW is, I don't want them to copy the WWE, but they have so many. Their roster is huge, and they have so many titles. Tell me where these titles belong and where I can see them. Make Rampage a Ring of Honor show, something like that. Every Friday you're going to see the Ring of Honor champion. Every Saturday you're going to see the Trios title, something like that. It doesn't have to be a brand split. It doesn't have to be that. But explain to me why Mark Briscoe was on Dynamite and Collision. I mean, we know why, because people like to watch him.
Sure.
But give me a division or something. Like, I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think?
No, absolutely. I mean, you know, I love Mark Briscoe, and but there's also times just like, man, he's wrestled 5 times televised in 7 days. It seems like.
Yeah.
Every time you turn around, you know, he's on Dynamite, then he's on Rampage, then he's on Collision, then they got their pay-per-view that on Sunday. So he could literally be on television 4 times in a 7-day span.
You know what? That's okay if that's how they want to run their programming, but there's so much more. And if they're going to have a 4th weekly television show, explain to me what the Ring of Honor, what is it to AEW? Is it the developmental? Is it an equivalent? Is the ROH title the same as the AEW title? We have no idea. They just have these titles. What are they?
True. Those are good points. I mean, but you know, also for me, like when we're talking Mark Briscoe, and yes, he is the Ring of Honor World Champion. How many times have we seen him actually defend the Ring of Honor World Championship on AEW television?
I don't. We haven't.
Maybe
right?
once.
Exactly.
I think there was once, but
and that was like 6 months ago, 5 months ago, 4 months ago.
So I ask again, what does that title mean? Does it just mean something for Ring of Honor shows? Is it a prop that he just carries out on Dynamite? Like, what does that mean?
Well, here's the question that I want you to think about, because we're going to go on break here in just a few seconds here. With Mark Briscoe not defending that Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship, does it lose its luster? Does it lose its luster? Think about that, and we're going to come back to that right after these messages here on Uncensored Wrestling Talk.
People are talking about Don Julio's Mexican restaurant in the Winfield Plaza and Don Julio's Taco Express at number 3 Troy Center, setting the standard for authentic Mexican food and great drinks. Carry out or dine in 7 days a week at both great locations. Stop in or order online for carryout at DonJuliosWinfield.com or DonJuliosTroy.com. Don Julio's Mexican restaurant in the Winfield Plaza and Don Julio's Taco Express at number 3 Troy Center. And don't forget, buy one, get one free on Wednesday in Troy and on Monday in Winfield. That's Don Julio's Mexican restaurant in the Winfield Plaza and Don Julio's Taco Express at number 3 Troy Center. Veteran owned and operated, bringing great authentic Mexican food home to Lincoln County. Hasta pronto!
Trust the professionals at Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions. Buying or selling, they'll make your dreams come true. Here's commercial property and development expert Rick Meyer.
Oh, it's been a great family business. My dad started the company, and we have been in business a long time. And really what keeps us in business, I think, is just working with our good customers and clients and the relationships that we're able to build. It's really important to us, our agents, to build that relationship, but provide the service to this your local community.
We are the #1 stop in the region for buying and selling residential, commercial, and farm real estate. We've been serving the area for more than 40 years, and we do it with pride.
You can reach us at and look at all our properties at MeyerListings.com. You can also call us at 636-462-5555.
Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, North Lincoln Drive in Troy, 636-462-5555. Online at MeyerListings.com.
At CHS, we know what it takes to feed and fuel the world, to integrate a global ag and energy supply chain, to advocate for farmers in their fields and around the world, to build communities, invest in rural America, and empower rural economies. It takes courage, conviction, commitment. It takes the nation's leading farmer-owned cooperative. It takes a co-op. It takes CHS.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 69 overnight tonight. Monday's high will be in the lower 90s, overcast clouds likely. Temperatures in the lower 90s forecast on Tuesday. Currently in Troy it's 80. In Wentzville it's 80 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Well, welcome back to Uncensored Wrestling Talk here in the Gateway Fiber Studios here on News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO, the KYRO Facebook page, Traveling East Productions Facebook page, YouTube channel, and Rumble channel. Go like and subscribe. And, of course, on the Uncensored Wrestling Talk Facebook page as well. Join us with your comments and your questions. We'd love to see them, love to read them, love to converse. So,
may I interrupt? We're also on X now.
Yes.
So if you'd like to follow us on X, the handle is @UWTalkKYRO. Please follow us, interact with us. I'm going to try to post, content throughout the week to get our fans engaged.
Very cool. Very cool. And that's called again?
@UWTalkKYRO.
UWTalkKYRO. I like that. UWTalkKYRO. I like it a lot. All right. So I had asked a question for you guys to ponder about. And then I'm going to expand on that as well afterwards. But with Mark Briscoe, he is holding the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship. Now, granted, he has defended it at the Ring of Honor pay-per-views, okay? We'll give him that. But that's only once every couple of months, every 3 months or so. We have not really seen him defend that championship on any AEW TV. And he's been on AEW TV, every single time for, the last 3 or 4 months, it seems like. Does that championship... is it losing its luster?
Yeah. First, I just want to say that it's a little unfortunate that he didn't get all this TV time until after his brother passed.
Yeah.
I know there was those incidents with his brother, but I think about that almost every time I see him and hear his entrance music. God, I wish his brother was here.
Yeah.
But anyway, has it lost its luster? An argument can be made that it's just a prop now for AEW TV. Hey, this guy's got a silver belt. He carries it with him every week, but it doesn't mean anything. However, I will say that AEW fan base, they know what Ring of Honor means, and when that title is on the line, they'll get into the match. They'll appreciate the match for what it is. They'll get into it.
For sure.
Something I was thinking about is I was actually trying to run through my head who is the roster for Ring of Honor right now.
It's random. It's so random.
It really is.
And the mainstays, they all have the belts. I mean, you got Dustin and Sammy.
Yeah, they're holding the Ring of Honor World Tag Team Championships.
And then Dustin with the Von Erichs is the
sixth man. Mm-hmm.
You've got Mark with the heavyweight. They have what's the Ring of Honor Strong?
No, Ring of Honor Women's Championship that you're talking about?
Right.
Yeah, that's Athena. But how often have we seen Athena? Not very much at all, honestly.
Not on AEW.
Not on AEW.
On the Ring of Honor, she's on there.
I mean, to me, I would switch Rampage and just go straight Ring of Honor.
Well,
bring that support back too.
Yeah,
I think AEW. I mean, I made that comment earlier too, but AEW has to think about if we're going to make a Ring of Honor show on a Friday night, are people going to watch Athena? Those are the decisions they have to make. So they bring on their main roster guys.
Honestly, I believe that when we see Athena in there working, she's one of the best.
Agreed.
She really truly is, but she's not given the opportunities like all these other folks that are being given the opportunities. But she's the world champion, for crying out loud.
One thing I learned when I joined this business is that just because a fan like yourself says Athena deserves the opportunity to be seen more, we are not there. We don't know what goes on there. Maybe there's something unspoken that holds her back. And I say hold her back in jest because she is the Ring of Honor champion. That's something to say. But we don't know, politics, personalities, management style, all that stuff. I mean, it's a business over there. There might be a reason. We don't know.
Well, that's true.
I think they should almost, I was sitting here thinking, bring back the TNA shoot your shot with, you have a title and you can shoot your shot at somebody.
What'd they call that, Fight Night or whatever?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, so now you got, if you're a champion in Ring of Honor, you could shoot your shot against whoever you want, or the champion in AEW.
Okay.
Well,
Fair.
yeah.
Yeah. In TNA, you could not decline that challenge.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's
you
true.
had to.
Well, you know, we're talking about the World Championship with Mark Briscoe, but let's be fair. The Tag Team Championship, the Six-Man Tag Team Championship, the Women's Championship, the Pure Wrestling Championship, which I love that title.
Sure.
And I love those matches. We don't see those defended very often.
I mean, if you subscribe to the Ring of Honor, what do they call it?
Honor Club?
The Honor Club. You see that. You see that stuff. But I don't know the numbers of that subscription service, but speaking, I guess none of the three of us have it. So, yeah, we're not seeing those people. So, anyway.
Half the time you don't find out a belt change until they show up on AEW.
Sure.
Well,
for how long did Yuta have the Pure Championship? And then all of a sudden he lost it to Shibata, and now Shibata doesn't have it, so where's that at?
Well, that's... I know Kyle Fletcher had it there for a little while.
Right.
But that's a good question. Who does hold the Pure Championship right now?
You know, I'm thinking in my mind, like, maybe their hope, maybe it's not working, but maybe their hope is you see Wheeler Yuta holding that championship on Dynamite, or you see Briscoe holding that title. Maybe their hope is, hey, maybe they're going to watch Ring of Honor because they see these guys with these titles. But they're not advertising that to us. They're not saying, if you want to see Mark Briscoe, tune in to the Honor Club and watch him defend his title. They're not doing that.
That's an interesting point that you bring up, because ever since, just shortly, I mean, they kind of mentioned it a little bit at the very, very beginning of Tony Khan buying Ring of Honor. But in the last 2.5 years or so, something like that,
right?
We don't ever hear that.
Right.
Ever.
You would think it's Excalibur. It takes 2 seconds. Hey, you want to see Mark Briscoe? Tune into the Honor Club. It costs X dollars.
That would be a really, really good idea, honestly. You know, and staying with AEW, we've got about 6 minutes before the top of the hour, about 5.5 minutes before we go there. With AEW, they are very, very, very close in inking another deal. TV deal, and that's a streaming deal, and we've heard about this several times in the past, but I think it's even closer now than it ever has been to going to Max for their pay-per-views. Wow, that might be a game changer for AEW.
I think it's the future for all TV programming, so live sports especially.
That they'll always, some other streaming service will pick them up, and then you just have to subscribe to that service.
Yeah. I mean, like, what, you can watch their pay-per-views on Fight and stuff like that now. But if they have a home, you will see AEW on Max. I think that'll do.
Now, I don't know. Maybe you guys do. Do you guys have either one of you Max right now?
No,
I personally don't. No.
Okay, so what my question is, and maybe we can do a little bit of research on this and find out. But how much is it to subscribe to Max right now? And then the next question, and we won't know this until everything's done and over with, but how much is it going to be after AEW inks their deal? Is it still going to be the same? And are you still going to have to pay even more to see that pay-per-view on Max?
So a quick Google search says Max costs $9.99 per month or $100 per year with ads.
Okay, so with that being said, $9.99 a month is basically the same as the Peacock network,
right?
And that's without ads. But I don't care about ads honestly right now. The thing of it is with Peacock you can watch everything WWE on there, the entire library, but also their pay-per-views. You don't have to pay extra to watch those.
Yeah, that was the selling point of the WWE Network and Peacock for me. Even if you don't watch the library, you're not spending $60 on a pay-per-view anymore.
Exactly.
So now if we add Peacock plus Max, let's say we have a fan base that watches both, what's that, $20 a month for
roughly,
all? Yeah, I mean, that doesn't sound too bad.
I'm hoping. I'm really truly hoping that that's what AEW does, because I have been kind of looking at numbers over the last year or so, and their buy rates aren't really all that great. They're just not.
Yeah.
And it's because I really truly believe that it's because it's $60 every single time.
Yeah.
They're it's the most expensive wrestling pay-per-view to get and watch.
Yeah. Well, we have to remember how old AEW is. 5 years old?
Yeah,
I mean, 5.5.
They're still growing pains and all that.
They're still a puppy, so...
I understand that, and I get where you're coming from. However, you've got all these different blueprints that you can look at and see that's working. This works for them. That works for them. This ain't working so much.
Sure.
You know what
Maybe
I mean?
Max will help him. Hopefully it does.
I really, truly do. And I think if they keep it like at a $9.99, even 15, let's call it 15 straight bucks, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think their numbers on the pay-per-views anyway will skyrocket to numbers that we've never seen before for AEW, and in turn that will get more eyes on the product because they watch the pay-per-view on Dynamite, on Rampage, on Collision, and even on a new show if it is Shockwave.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, also if they did it that way, it would also help sell the seats when you come to a town. I mean, unfortunately, they're still not selling out. When they show up for Dynamite or Collision, you got empty seats.
Yeah, I feel like that's a different conversation. We can migrate towards that if you'd like. We can talk about streaming.
Well, we've got about a minute and a half before we get to the top of the hour. But we can definitely jump into that after we come back. After the top of the hour, for sure, 100%. Because I think you're right. I think that is a different conversation.
Yeah, I feel like they're booking the wrong venues. I'll just say that quickly.
Yeah, I mean, definitely wrong venues or too large of venues.
Correct.
Yeah. So we've got about a minute before we go to the top of the hour. Remember, World League Wrestling, the house that Harley Race built, sponsor of this show. Next event, October the 5th, Brawl Hallows Eve. Tickets went on sale yesterday. So if you have not gotten your tickets yet, I hate to tell you, but you're behind the ball right now. Go get your tickets while we're on the break. That way you know for sure that you are going to be able to get in the door, because if you wait until the day of, you might just get turned away at the ticket window. It's happened many, many times this year. Many times.
Exactly. I mean, hottest ticket, October 5th, Troy.
Yep.
Be there.
For sure. Absolutely. 100%. Taking 10 seconds until we get out of here, but we're going to be back at about 6 minutes after the top of the hour for the second hour of Uncensored Wrestling Talk, and we'll see you then.
Live from the Gateway Fiber Studios, online at gatewayfiber.com. News Radio 105.3, 1280 KYRO Troy. It's 11 o'clock in the Heartland.
Fox News, I'm Deborah Valentine. Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu says Israel is in a multi-front war against Iran and its allies. The statement after Israel's military claims Iranian-backed Houthi rebels launched a missile at central Israel from Yemen. No injuries. Security shortcomings found leading up to July's assassination attempt on 2024 Republican presidential nominee Donald Trump. Fox's Madeline Rivera.
For the Washington Post, the shortcomings in the strategy to protect Trump included a failure to form a barrier that would have obstructed the view of the rally stage.
A bipartisan Senate report on the assassination attempt is expected this week. 3 wildfires are burning within 100 miles of Los Angeles. LA County Section Fire Chief Kenchi Bello-Hewitt told Fox News Live that evacuations are underway. America's listening to Fox News.
They say to make yourself indispensable at work, so I developed a digital catering solution that only I can operate. Okay, it's actually EasyCater.com.
David!
They love me, because I, the Director of Catering Logistics, not a real job, use EasyCater to get catering from all our favorite restaurants. Tight budget? No problem. Need vegetarian options? Gluten-free? Check and check.
D-Man, you crushed lunch today.
It was easy. EasyCater.
EasyCater is your all-in-one tech platform for ordering food for work. Start your order at easycater.com.
The best things in life, they come in twos. 2 scoops of ice cream, 2 tacos. And now for a limited time, get our best deal of the year. Buy any phone when you switch to Consumer Cellular and get 2 months of service free. That's right, the same fast, reliable nationwide coverage as Big Wireless, now with 2 months free. Proof the best things in life really do come in twos. Visit consumercellular.com or call 1-888-FREEDOM. Second and third month of monthly base service fee waived for new customers with the purchase of a phone and activation by September 2nd, 2024. Taxes, fees, and third-party charges will apply. See website for additional.
I'm Elizabeth McDonald, and this is the Fox Business Report.
Stocks ending higher to close out a strong week with both the Nasdaq and S&P 500 notching their 5th straight session of gains as investors get in gear for next week's decision on interest rates from the Fed. It's widely expected that the central bank will be lowering interest rates by 25 basis points. The Fed has been keeping its benchmark interest rate at a 2-decade high in hopes of tackling hot inflation. All 11 of the S&P 500 sectors ending in the green, with tech the biggest winner. The Dow up 297 points, the Nasdaq up 114, S&P 500 higher by 30. And shares of Trump Media and Technology Group jumped 12% after former President Donald Trump said he's not selling his shares of the company that operates the Truth social media platform that he created. That's your Fox Business Report. I'm Hillary Barsky, invested in you.
It's time to take the quiz. 5 questions, 5 minutes a day, 5 days a week.
History, pop culture, science, sports, civics. How much do you know? Let's find out.
Who was the first person to walk on the moon?
Jackson or something?
Neil Armstrong.
Take the quiz every weekday at thequiz.fox and then listen to the quiz podcast to find out how you did.
Play, share, and of course, listen to The Quiz right now at The Quiz.
We've been fighting the war on drugs for a long time. We answer the phone 24/7, 365 days a year. On a busy night, we answer hundreds of calls. This war on drugs needs our intervention.
Since 2014, Addiction Hope and Helpline has helped people struggling with drugs and alcohol.
When the phone rings, we help people when they need it the most. When we get a caller into treatment, it feels good. It's a blessing.
If you're struggling, drinking, using, and need to get clean, don't suffer alone in silence. Call Addiction Hope and Helpline.
Our people understand, and many are also in recovery. Call for support and strength. You can call for someone who can't or isn't willing. It's an act of love. Together we can help you beat this thing and erase addiction from your vocabulary once and for all.
Call 800-308-8292. That's 800-308-8292. 800-308-8292.
From the Fox Sports Studios in Los Angeles, here's Nick Cope.
We've got the inactive list just in for the early slate of games on this NFL Sunday. Notable players that are active: Lions receiver Jameson Williams, Packers receiver Jaden Reed, Chargers receiver Joshua Palmer, Chargers defensive end Joey Bosa, Ravens linebacker Kyle Van Noy, and Colts defensive tackle DeForest Buckner. Notable inactives now: Colts receiver Josh Downs, Browns offensive tackle Jack Conklin, Seattle running back Kenneth Walker, Cowboys tight end Jake Ferguson, Saints corner Marshawn Lattimore, and Jets corner DJ Reed. Bengals not expected to have receiver T. Higgins later today when they travel to Arrowhead. Bears receivers Keenan Allen and Rome Odunze both considered game-time decisions. ESPN says Odunze is expected to play, and Allen, if he is cleared, likely to have a lighter workload.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 69 overnight tonight. Monday's high will be in the lower 90s, overcast clouds likely. Temperatures in the lower 90s forecast on Tuesday. Currently in Troy it's 80. In Wentzville it's 80 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Well, good, wonderful Sunday morning to you. It's the second hour of Uncensored Wrestling Talk here in the new Gateway Fiber Studios here on News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO, also on the KYRO Facebook page, the Traveling East Productions Facebook page, YouTube channel, and Rumble channel. Go like and subscribe. Also, of course, on the Uncensored Wrestling Talk Facebook page as well. Join us, on the comments, the questions. Please feel free to join in on the conversations that we are having. And, we were having a conversation about all kinds of different things last hour. But when we got to the end of the hour, we were talking about arenas and different shows and stuff like that. And HD, during the break, you brought up something really, really interesting. Why don't you go ahead and jump into that?
So, AEW can do whatever they want. They're a successful company. But as a fan from the outside, are they booking the right arenas? Are they... There's a lot of negativity around, the hard cam. There's nobody sitting over there. Well, what if they booked a smaller venue to make it look like a better presentation?
Mm-hmm.
They're going for the big arena feel. It's obvious that's what they're going for. But maybe they don't care about social media backlash. Maybe they're still profiting on renting those buildings. But I don't know if it's the right decision. But what do I know?
Well, just before All In, AEW booked the one place in Texas for Collision, 6 straight weeks.
Something like that, yeah.
Which I thought was great.
Yeah.
Great on them to be able to do that. Because, it wasn't as big, but the crowd there was, by the end of those 6 weeks or how many weeks they had them, the crowd was hot.
Sure.
Is that because they taped everything all at one, like in a matter of days?
I don't know if it was a matter of days.
I think what they were doing is like on Wednesday. So we know Wednesday's always live, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then afterwards they will tape either Rampage or Collision, and sometimes both on the same night.
Mm-hmm.
When they were in that one place down there in Texas, I think that they were going with doing Dynamite Live and then Rampage being taped directly after it. And sometimes they would do a few matches before Dynamite as well. And then on those Saturdays, again, they would be there live doing it.
Do they do what TNA does, though, right? So they'll, TNA will have their pay-per-views on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
And then Saturday through Sunday, they will tape a month's worth of television.
Sure.
Was Collision doing that in Texas?
I don't think they had the forethought to do that much.
Yeah, I think they were. I think they were
trying
still
to
going
keep
live.
it as live as possible.
Yeah. No, Rampage was always taped.
Yeah.
Very rarely do we get a Rampage that is live
right.
nowadays.
I don't know. Would the Family Arena or something like that be better for an AEW just for presentation's sake? Maybe it would save them some money. I don't know.
That's a good point. Speaking of that, and something else that you had brought up about NXT, and we're going to jump into that too. So the last time that I went to an NXT show that was here in St. Louis a couple of years ago, it was at the St. Charles Family Arena, and they had cut the arena in half, basically. And then, with that being said, there was maybe 1,500 people to 2,000, somewhere in there. And they were all over in that area, or in that half arena. But if you looked at the very top of the arena, where there's a whole bunch more seating as well, it wasn't as many people up there.
Right. So you say 1,500 at the Family Arena. What's Dynamite pulling when they come to the Chaffetz? How many people?
Interesting enough, the last time that I went to the Chaffetz Arena with AEW there, it was a packed house. It truly was a very packed house there.
That was for the pay-per-view, though.
No, I'm not talking about pay-per-view.
Oh, okay.
I'm talking about the Dynamite. The Dynamite beforehand.
The Dynamite.
Yeah, I mean, pay-per-view, yeah, that was extremely packed.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I was trying to get tickets for that myself, and within days, like 2 or 3 days, there wasn't any tickets to get, and unless you went through a scalper, of course, and then you're paying buku bucks. Yeah,
Right.
But with Dynamite itself though, and they had taped Rampage that night as well. It was a packed house.
Okay.
So it's really depending on where they're going. Honestly,
it does. Yeah, St. Louis draws a pretty decent crowd. You're right.
Just like Chicago.
Yep.
Just like New York. Jacksonville down there at the Daly's place. It's always a packed house down there. So, but then you go to places like in Kentucky where they've been, or out to the West Coast. It's really weird. There's hardly anybody there.
There's a reason they go back to Chicago like 8 times a year. Mm-hmm. They know that they're going to get tickets sold.
Very much so. And I think that's another point that we were talking about earlier, like they did in Texas. Maybe they ought to do that more often in these other different places.
Yeah, they would do well to do that in Chicago. Just do a bunch of tapings.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, run it 4 weeks there.
Yeah.
With everybody would be coming.
Yeah, agree.
For sure. Absolutely. 100%. Something else that you had brought up about NXT and the show that's coming to St. Louis.
Yeah, so we were talking about it during the break. On October 8th, NXT was scheduled to be in St. Louis at the Enterprise Center.
Mm-hmm.
Due to low ticket sales, I don't believe they said that in the article, but we have to believe due to low ticket sales, they're moving to the factory in Chesterfield.
I don't see how that's going to work. I mean, yeah, you got the upper half with the factory. It's basically you got your upper half, and then it's all floor. Yeah,
Sure.
you put chairs around and try to, but I can't see them building stands up to the second level at the factory.
Maybe they're going for like a unique look or something. you know?
It's possible.
Yeah,
it's possible. You know, if we remember also with AEW, when they had first started down there at the Daly's place, they had that ring all kinds of different places. And one of the times it was up there on that stage too. So they could be doing something along those kind of lines as well. Here in St. Louis, there's that one wrestling organization, brain fart here right now, Grandel Wrestling.
I was going to mention, so I have seen at Red Flag and at Pops, they have balcony seatings, and it makes really cool wrestling shows.
Sure.
So actually the pageant too. Pageant's a little different because it's so big, but the balcony wrestling is really cool. Like the visual of it's really cool.
Very much so. I had gone to a wrestling show over there at the Pops concert venue as well, and that one was Glory Pro. A Glory Pro show when they had the older NWO guys in there, Sean Waltman and Scott Norton and Buff Bagwell. If you remember, did you go to that show?
No, I don't recall that show, but that's very cool.
Yeah, so it can be done. Yeah. That's the point. It can be done. It's just a matter of finding those places.
Right. Maybe they can, when NXT airs this program, they can make it look different than any other. NXT's that Rebel show, so maybe they're looking for a different look.
But I mean, that's the next question. So we've heard of October the 1st and October the 8th being on the road in Chicago, in St. Louis. Are there plans to continue that in the future?
Well, that's what they were talking, on NXT. They kept, this is the new wave, and that's what from what they project and have stated on some of the news media, is that's where they're going with it. Right now it's just they've only announced St. Louis and Chicago, but from my understanding, more road shows are planned.
I don't know, because reading an article myself earlier this morning and yesterday with the WWE themselves. So last year in 2023, they had a total of 300 shows. That includes, Monday Night Raw, the SmackDown, their pay-per-views, and their house shows, right? Then this year they cut that number down to 250. Their plan right now is to cut that all the way down to 200 for 2025.
For main roster shows or NXT included?
Right, for main roster shows. But I'm also wondering if they're going to keep the same schedule that they've had with NXT, because very, very rarely do we see NXT going on the road, even with just house shows, honestly.
There's a lot of change going on in WWE as a whole right now. So
there is.
If they want NXT to be a traveling program, good for them. Let them try.
Yeah.
You know? At the same time, though, things that I would think about if I was there and had a hand in the decision-making process is, this is our developmental show to get our roster ready for main television programming.
Mhm.
Is taking them on the road the right decision? Or should we keep them at the Performance Center where we can control everything?
Well,
But also, I mean, NXT also has Level Up.
Yeah.
Which is their people that are in the performance that are trying to make it to the NXT
Mhm.
main roster.
Mhm.
So I could see easily a road show with the main roster, and that's where you start. And then as you get used to being on the road a lot, that makes it so much easier for the transition when you go up to Raw or SmackDown.
Yeah, 100%.
Well, you know, regardless of where they go and where they put these shows at, it's going to be profitable for the WWE for the simple fact that in the Performance Center where NXT is done right now on the regular, your crowd size is only about 200, 300, somewhere in that, and that's only that one side that we see. You're going to get way more than that. I mean, way, way more than that. If you're doing house shows and stuff like that, or even if you're taking NXT on the road, like on October 1st and October 8th, even with it being changed from the Enterprise Center over to the factory now, I think you're still going to see a quote-unquote bigger crowd there than you will at the Performance Center.
Does that mean that they're going to make more money? You brought up the word profit. I mean, you got all those travel expenses involved.
True.
Does that mean that they're going to make a profit just because?
Well, let's think about this for a second then. About 2 years ago, I'm thinking it was around about 2 years ago when NXT came to the St. Charles Family Arena. And floor seats, I remember the ringside for like the first 4 to 5 rows were about $200. And then as you went further back, you know, it went down a little bit, but the seats that I was able to grab was last row on the front row, on the floor, right? And I was still spending $90 on those. And then I knew I had friends in the bowl areas where they were saying that they were spending roughly $75 a ticket. So
those aren't cheap tickets.
Those are not cheap tickets, but they're filled. Every 18 inches, they're filled, right? So I've got to think that it would be profitable for them.
Fair enough.
You know what I mean?
I'm just asking. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying. I think. What do you think?
Well, I think the profitability would be there. Yeah, because keep in mind the Enterprise is large. It takes a lot of energy and a lot of overhead just to run that facility.
Yeah, just turn the lights on. It's expensive.
You know, where some place like the factory, it's a little bit smaller.
Yeah.
Not as many AC units, need not as much energy. You don't have as many concession stands that you have to fill up and pay those people. So profitability, size-wise, if you're not going to sell out the Enterprise, you could sell out that and just be probably just as profitable as if you were at the Enterprise.
Yeah, for sure. You know, it kind of makes me, it kind of reminds me a bit of Ring of Honor before COVID, before the sell and everything like that. They were generally, most of the time, they were on the East Coast, around the Baltimore area and stuff like that for their shows. They were in small places.
Banquet halls.
Yes. But it looked like it was standing room only.
I went to one Ring of Honor show, I don't know, 15 years ago at the Gateway Center in Collinsville. It was a blast. It was a great time, but it was a small, where people have wedding receptions.
Yeah.
But they would showcase it, or it would be visualized on TV. There's a ton of people here.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Ring of Honor's very last show before COVID hit was actually here in St. Louis. And it was that pay-per-view. And again, they had, just like that NXT show that I went to, they had the arena cut in half.
Where was it at?
At the Family Arena in St. Charles. And I would say there were more fans at that one than it was at that NXT show. And I would say it was roughly around about 3,000 fans there. So it can be done.
Yeah.
It can be done, but also at the same time, with NXT coming, I'm wondering if it wasn't enough advertisement time. You know what I mean? Because it's only been advertised for like the last 3 weeks or so, 4 weeks, something like that.
It was only advertised on Raw and SmackDown and NXT,
right?
Of course, so you were limiting your advertisement time right there.
At the same time, they advertised Randy Orton is going to appear.
Yeah.
What does that say?
See, that's what I'm really interested about. We're going to jump into that here in just a few moments because we are up against the first break of the second hour. But that's another interesting dynamic that we need to talk about. So we're going to take our first break here, the second hour, and we will be right back with more talk with Superfan HD and myself, and any of your questions and comments on any of the Facebook feeds, and we will be right back.
The Moscow Mills Lions Club invites you every second Sunday of the month, 7:30 to noon. All-you-can-eat breakfast, $12 adults, kids 6 to 11, 6, and children under 6 eat free. Sunday breakfast, 30 Friese Industrial Drive in Moscow Mills.
If you see a down power line, Quiver River Electric reminds you to always assume the line is energized and dangerous. Avoid going near it or anything in contact with the power line. Never drive over a down power line or through water touching the power line. If you see a down power line, notify the local authorities immediately. To learn more, call us at 1-800-392-3709 or visit safeelectric.org. A safety message from Quiver River Electric Cooperative.
Hi, this is Ken with Elliott Flooring. Listen for the News Radio KYRO local news at 8 a.m., 10 a.m., noon, and 4 p.m. Powered by Elliott Flooring.
Well, welcome back. Uncensored Wrestling Talk here in the new Gateway Fiber Studios here on News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO, and of course on all the feeds that we love, KYRO, Traveling East Production, and the Uncensored Wrestling Talk. And we're waiting right now for HD to come back to the studio. He had to go use the facilities real quick. But, it's really interesting to see what's been going on with all this, the arena shows and, AEW. We've seen pictures. Where, like, three-fourths of the arena is, like, completely empty. Mm-hmm. And it's... For me as a true wrestling fan, it's saddening to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's really saddening because without the support of the people actually buying the tickets to be in the seats at the events, what are you doing? You might as well just do tape in a studio instead of going to these live advertisement. A lot of this we're talking that we've seen post instead of pre, so it could be that they're just not marketing it right.
Maybe
the stars are that you have with the organization, because we were getting ready to talk about Randy Orton. You compare Randy Orton in St. Louis, but then you compare CM Punk in Chicago. There's a reason why CM Punk is a Second City Saint. He walks on water there, and everybody is going to go out support him there because they constantly see him. He's constantly talking about Chicago. Randy Orton gets home and he's with his family, which is great.
Sure,
but you really don't see Randy out and about in St. Louis either. So I think maybe that's why they're not getting the big support like they could be having for CM Punk, who's supposed to show up on that NXT October 1st event.
Right. Well, H.D. Daniels, our referee here on Uncensored Wrestling Talk, has rejoined us, and so your thoughts on this whole Randy Orton? Does it have? Is there? What's the difference? What's the difference here?
The difference between Randy and CM Punk?
Sure. I mean, Randy Orton has been in the WWE constantly, no breaks except for, of course, injuries and stuff like that, and your normal breaks that you would get. But I don't know.
So CM Punk, kind of like what Tim was saying, CM Punk is Chicago. It's how he brands himself.
Mhm.
Randy doesn't brand himself. Yeah, he's from St. Louis, but is he St. Louis? I would say no. And a lot of his career, he was a bad guy.
Sure. Sure.
I remember times where he would come out in St. Louis and get booed. CM Punk doesn't come out booed, heel or babyface.
That's a good point.
So they're, the older fans are like, this is Randy. I don't care for him. But I'm just speculating, There's little kids. They love Randy. He's been a babyface for a few years now.
Sure. So what do you think they could have done differently to get higher or better ticket sales then?
Well, you don't even hear it talk about on local news. Fox, NBC.
Do they talk about WWE in general, though?
Not really.
Unless there's an event.
Mhm.
Now, at the 9 a.m. on those days, if there's an event in town, there's been many a times the wrestler has stepped up. And
but that's usually
been on
the morning
9.
of or the morning before. Never well in advance of that.
Yeah.
With WWE respectively. Now with World League Wrestling, there's been many a times where we've seen the Legacy of Leland Race and all these other folks on there weeks ahead of time, and advertising and stuff. But when it comes to the WWE, though, or any of your bigger ones like AEW, WWE, even TNA for that matter, it's usually the morning of or the morning right before.
Yeah. I mean, when NXT had big shows at the Performance Center, like when they were going against Dynamite, they brought in big names. Cody was there once.
Mhm.
Dolph Ziggler was there for a little while. They brought in Paul Heyman went there one time. Maybe that's what they had to do. Randy's not doing it for us, even though he's from St. Louis. Let's bring AJ Styles to St. Louis. I don't know. Just throw some names on there to sell more tickets. But ultimately, they decided to go somewhere else.
But the NXT roster, I think, is stacked right now. I mean,
People
who wouldn't want to go see Obafemi? I mean, the guy's a monster.
So you say that, but do people know who Obafemi is?
Well, if you're not watching the product, but
Correct.
if you see this 350-pound, 6-foot man walking down the street at you, you'll be like, where's he going?
But see, also to HD's point, why the low ticket sales then? If
People
they've
don't watch
got a
NXT.
stacked roster.
Yeah. I think it's a sign that at least in St. Louis, people aren't watching NXT.
I think that's where it lies in right there, honestly. I mean, with us and our smaller circles, I guess you could say, we're all watching it.
Big
we're all
wrestling
watching
fans,
it.
yeah.
But when you go to a casual wrestling fan, though, and for those of you that don't know what that means, it's a person that watches wrestling only once in a while. They're not. They're just not watching.
They'll buy a ticket to Raw, but they won't go to NXT.
Mhm.
Not the casual fan.
Exactly. And I think that's where the nail has been hit on the head here, where it's just not being watched as much here in the St. Louis area anyway.
They either need to change the perception of what NXT is. When you watch NXT, are you watching AAA baseball, or are you watching a main roster show?
But if you watch it, it feels like a main roster show. But then, we haven't talked about what day it is. Tuesday.
Mm-hmm.
I could see Monday and Fridays, people would schedule, because it's before a weekend or
Sure.
right after a weekend, you could schedule extra time off to be able to attend those shows. Now you're talking Tuesday.
Well, Wednesday, Dynamite comes on Wednesdays.
Right.
Yeah.
And does that affect the crowd size? Because it is a Wednesday.
And let's think about Collision as well. Collision's on a Saturday when there's all kinds of different things going on.
Yeah.
So what day is the best day of the week to do it?
To do wrestling? Probably,
Yes.
probably Saturday. But
Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday.
Yeah, but see, that lies also the problem. We're talking where you're saying that, and that's coming from
Right.
diehards. We're diehards
Right.
here.
Mhm.
I mean, completely 100% diehards. So,
But to the casual fan, yeah, how do you get them to come out on a business night? It
well,
could be
Randy
rough.
Orton didn't do it, so you need something else, another grab.
Sure. Maybe they should have been. Oh, here's another thing to think about. Maybe they should have been advertising an actual card
Mhm.
of what was going to be going on, because I haven't. I don't know. Maybe you have. I haven't heard any matches whatsoever outside of it focusing on Randy Orton being there.
So usually when Raw comes to town, you'll hear those match announcements like on the radio.
Mhm.
Come to the Enterprise Center, and you'll see, Seth Rollins versus AJ.
Sure.
And that's usually like, the dark match after the show or something.
Mhm.
If they're not doing that for NXT, I suppose that could be a mistake.
I mean, with Raw and with SmackDown, much bigger shows, right?
Yeah, you don't even need to advertise.
Yeah, you don't even have to advertise for those. They're going to be sold out basically. With NXT, you got to pick the ball up a little bit on this one.
But even like I said, though, Oba Femi versus whoever.
Right.
Who's going to care about that? Is that going to sell tickets? It might. It's not going to hurt anything, but
it's not going to hurt to try.
Right.
Oba Femi versus Wesley,
Sure.
whatever the case may
Mhm.
be,
Yeah.
right? Oba Femi versus the Don, Tony D'Angelo,
Yeah.
right?
Is that going to sell one ticket? I don't know.
You never know until you try.
Well, we have a pretty strong Italian group here, so it might.
Yeah, the Hill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could advertise something along the lines of Tony D'Angelo being at the Hill the night before, or something along those lines too, possibly.
Yeah, that could work.
Yeah,
But then again, Raw is that Monday night, the night before NXT at the Enterprise.
True.
So it's kind of
True.
surprising that, I thought I had heard they were comboing tickets.
There was a combo out there. Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, there was, but like HD was saying, not very many tickets sold though. So I don't know. But again, Raw, that no matter where you go, no matter where it is, you're going to get practically a packed house, if not a complete sellout. What is it? They are now up to 35. I want to say it's 35 TV sellouts in a row, and 52 sellouts altogether, and that's including house shows and stuff like that. So they're doing something along those lines right there on your big shows.
Nobody can say they're doing anything wrong.
Right. That's what I mean.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they've got the blueprint, why AEW doesn't take some of that blueprint and use it correctly, but it could be finances, it could be many things. But you look at AEW, you got people, Jeff Jarrett there, of all people, he knows. He started TNA. He knows the right and wrongs. And, how do you get it to sell out? How do you get it to the point where people are interested? Maybe a little bit less matches, a little bit better storytelling.
Well, Jeff Jarrett being in AEW, I mean, I know they were talking about trying to do more house shows, but the numbers weren't just adding up to be profitable to do that, and that was with Jeff Jarrett in charge of that. Same thing when Jeff Jarrett was still in the WWE, he had the same type of title and was doing the same type of work for WWE for house shows and whatnot. And when he was doing it there, numbers weren't really all that great, to be quite honest. So maybe it's something Jeff Jarrett was doing.
Yeah.
What it was, I don't know. It's just speculation, of course.
That's a whole show's worth of material.
This is true, and I'm not going to say too much because I don't want Jeff Jarrett coming at us either. I mean,
he might hit you with a guitar this time.
Exactly.
You've already had one bump on the head.
Yeah.
Do you guys think with NXT moving, what do you think that says about Randy Orton as a whole on WWE programming? Is his stock lower?
Not really, because when you look at Randy Orton on regular shows like Raw, SmackDown, full packed house, and 3/4 of the crowd, if not more, is chanting for Randy Orton, right?
They are.
So, I mean,
what's he really doing though? Like, what is Randy really doing on SmackDown? He's Kevin Owens' best bud.
Yeah.
That's his personality now.
Yeah.
But I think he's really trying to help the younger people.
Well, he also had a nice little program with Gunther as well.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
So, and that literally just finished up not too long ago. But that is a question with Randy Orton though. So we've got John Cena's retirement tour coming up next year. How much longer does Randy Orton have in the tank? And it's sad to see, because if he didn't sell, and I'm going to lay it on Randy Orton's shoulders for a minute, okay? If he didn't sell that many tickets for NXT, what's that say for Randy Orton himself? And that's what you've been saying.
Yeah.
So I kind of see where you're coming from now.
You mentioned Randy Orton's tank. I'll tell you, Randy Orton can go.
Oh, yeah.
He's got, 10 years, 15 years on his contract still? And if he...
10 or 15 years?
I thought it was 10 years.
So it was 10, and then he put on a 5-year extension. I don't know.
Right.
Something like that. But
wow.
If Randy Orton wants to turn it on, he'll turn it on. He can have a match that you've never seen before, and he can still do it.
But he might have had more of a draw if he had a belt on him.
I'm wondering that, too.
There's the fact that he doesn't have a belt.
But for Randy Orton, the question can be made, does he need a belt?
No, he doesn't need one. Not per se.
Does a belt need Randy Orton?
A belt might need Randy Orton after some time.
I mean, how close he's 14 times?
Yeah, he's 14 times.
I mean, he's right there where, 15, 16. I can see a couple runs in him.
That's interesting.
Do they give him 2 more to battle with Cena for number 17?
Exactly.
Oof. I hadn't even thought about that.
I think a lot of people are thinking about that.
But see, here's the thing with
Or did
that,
they come
though.
up with a Legends belt? Sorry.
But let's talk World Championship right now, though. He's sitting at 14. John Cena, Ric Flair. John Cena is sitting at 16. That means that he's got to win the championship twice more before even tying him. That's got to happen soon.
Yeah.
I mean, like really, really soon, because before we know it, it's going to be January. Before we know it, it's going to be December of next year, and that whole year is gone, and John Cena's done. John Cena's done.
Yeah.
And then where do you put that match at?
That match, John Cena versus Orton for number 17, that'll sell out of WrestleMania.
Yeah, that'll be a WrestleMania.
But do you want to do it then? Or do you do it where it is John Cena's very last match of all time in the WWE?
Well, he said he was going to retire at WrestleMania.
No, he did not. No.
I think it's around Christmas.
He goes all the way through the rest of the year. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All the way through the rest of the year. So if you're going to do something like that, my guess is the right thing to do is to have it his last match. And that way, if he does win it, he goes out on top. And even if he doesn't win it, he's still going out on top because of the type of match that we know that will happen between Randy Orton and John Cena.
So what's the pay-per-view in December for WWE?
They have changed it up so many times.
Yeah, they have. I was going to say Extreme Rules, but that might have changed.
Yeah, I think that has changed to like October
Well,
time frame.
yeah.
November is Survivor Series.
Yep.
Right.
So we've seen Armageddon in December. We've seen No Mercy in December. I mean, we've seen so many of them those type of months, they're
Maybe-
not always set.
Maybe it's a Netflix special, you know?
Well, here's another thing to think about. Saturday night main event.
Yeah, something like that.
There's supposed to be, starting next year, 4 Saturday night main events for the next 5 years, 20 total. That could be something where that happens on a Saturday night in December of next year. For a Saturday night main event, John Cena versus Randy Orton. The biggest, I could see this happening, the biggest match on free TV.
You know what? Yeah. Sounds awesome to me.
Let's book it.
Let's book it. Book it.
Call Triple H right now.
Well, with that being said, we're going to take a break, our last break here on Uncensored Wrestling Talk. Well, our referee, H.D. Daniels, gets Triple H on the phone and questions him about that. So we will be right back.
A careless driver can change your life in an instant. Do you know what to do or who to call? If you've been injured in a motor vehicle accident and don't have an attorney, call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free consultation. We can answer all of your questions and estimate the potential value of your case. Call Auto Accident Help Desk and connect with an expert personal injury attorney. Call 800-815-5033. 800-815-5033. Don't worry how to handle your medical bills, lost wages, and pain. We will get you the money you deserve.
They got me way more than the insurance company offered.
The consultation is free, and you don't pay any legal fees unless we win or settle your case. Make the smart call if you've been injured in an auto accident. Call Auto Accident Help Desk for a free legal consultation. Call 800-815-5033. 800-815-5033. 800-815-5033.
Auto Accident Help Desk.
Hi, everybody. This is News Radio KYRO Vice President and General Manager John Chepper, and I have a question for you. Have you ever considered hosting a foreign exchange student? If you haven't, perhaps the time is now. You can host a high school student from another country who lives with your family for 5 to 10 months, a new international branch for your family tree, and an opportunity to share your part of America with an international teenager. AYUSA has been connecting families around the world for over 30 years. A track record of trust with compassionate, engaged student leaders and personalized host family support. There's no typical family. No matter where you live or how your family is structured, there's a student waiting for a family like yours for a unique opportunity. Find out more by contacting the AYUSA local representative Tricia Schneidermeyer at 636-295-7224. Explore the wonderful opportunities that AYUSA has to offer, connecting families around the world for over 30 years.
The Olean Livestock Market is now the Olean Regional Stockyards and under new ownership. The Olean Regional Stockyards will be holding sales every Monday at 12 noon. For consignment and trucking needs, call Hayden Hurst at 573-690-2705 or Dusty Roberts at 417-298-9755. The Olean Regional Stockyards, same location, 56 Highway FF in Eldon. Our new ownership allows us to make improvements to our facility while maintaining familiarity to our customers. We can't wait to serve you. The Olean Regional Stockyards, the best destination for cattle buyers and sellers.
News Radio KYRO weather from the Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions Weather Center, online at MeyerListings.com. Overcast clouds in Troy, getting down to 67 overnight tonight. Monday's high will be in the lower 90s. Overcast clouds likely. Temperatures in the lower 90s forecast on Tuesday. Currently in Troy it's 82. In Warrenton it's 81 degrees. Perfect homes, commercial real estate or farm ground, Meyer & Company Real Estate and Auctions, online at MeyerListings.com. I'm Erica Walters.
Well, welcome back to Uncensored Wrestling Talk right here in the new Gateway Fiber Studios here on News Radio 105.3 FM, 1280 AM, KYRO. Of course, also, we're on the KYRO Facebook page, the Traveling East Facebook page, Rumble, and YouTube channels. Go like and subscribe. And as well as on the Uncensored Wrestling Talk Facebook page, too. You can still join us with your questions and comments. We've got about 15 minutes left in the show, roughly. And gentlemen, I just realized something. an hour and 45 minutes into the show, and we have not talked about anything that has happened in wrestling wise in the last week.
What do you want to talk about?
Let's talk about Friday Night SmackDown, shall we?
Which part?
The whole thing. The whole thing. I found it interesting. It's an interesting dynamic that we'll just jump to the end of it real quick. But throughout the evening, there was some teasings and some stuff going on, and some savings going on with Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes and the Bloodline situation. We saw Cody Rhodes tell Nick Aldis in the back that he didn't care what was in that contract that Nick Aldis had, that he was not going to sign it. And then we get to the end of the show, and in original Tribal Chief fashion, Roman Reigns came out and took it to break. Through the break, you could see it in picture. He was still holding court. And then the Bloodline came out. And then you saw Cody Rhodes come out. Now, we did see Tongaloa, Tama Tonga, trying to get a beatdown in. Did not work. Roman Reigns and Cody Rhodes successfully holding them off. But then you saw that contract in Roman Reigns' hands, and he went ahead and signed it. And he didn't really even look at it, honestly. He just signed it. Then Cody Rhodes put his hand out and asked for that contract, and he signed it. So apparently, we're going to get Cody Rhodes and Roman Reigns teaming up to go up against the Bloodline, and I'm guessing that it is Solo Sikoa and Jacob Fatu.
Yeah, just that contract, the concept of that contract was so weird on Friday. Roman even said before anybody came out, I don't need a contract. I'm the tribal chief. I do what I want.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he signed the contract.
Yeah.
So why do you even make comments like that? It's ridiculous. And then Cody says, I don't need a contract either. I don't want any business with this. And then he signs the contract.
I'm not going to sign the contract.
So why even have that as a plot device? It didn't make any sense to me at all. We've seen enemies become friends to team up and take on the greater evil. There's something about Cody and Roman teaming up that I don't like.
Yeah, I'm not the biggest fan of it. I mean, you spent 2 years chasing down your nemesis and finally winning and finishing the story and hyping up finishing the story, and now you just one night decide, oh, well, I guess you helped me out one night, so I'm gonna.
But this is a different story.
I know, but I don't.
It is.
Still,
I mean, it's a different story,
but it's still.
We started a new book, did we?
Right.
Yeah,
a new
it's a new chapter. It's a new chapter in the book.
Yeah.
What inning are we in?
Right. I don't know. And whether they're trying to build more. Because let's be honest, I'll throw this out there. Who thinks Cody Rhodes' championship reign has been on top of the moon?
I think the
financial lackluster.
Yeah, I think the financial numbers say otherwise.
Yeah,
like the number one merch sale.
Oh yeah, But overall, your feeling about Cody Rhodes being the champion now?
I think he's going through that phase that a lot of, especially if it's the first time he had it, he has fodder opponents just to establish himself as the champion.
Yeah, and plus you got to look at that they have gone to places that they've never been to before.
Mm-hmm.
With him being the champion, and every single time those places break records.
Yeah, Germany, France,
London, England.
Yep.
Everywhere that they've been overseas, it has broken some sort of record, whether it be ticket sales, whether it be merch, whether it be everything all together, whatever. They've been breaking it.
Yeah.
He just doesn't like Cody's run, I guess.
I think it would be better if he was on Raw. What if you switch Gunther and Cody?
What difference would that make?
I think because you got the Drew McIntyres, you got CM Punks. You've got a little bit more, I think, believable opponents that you could choose from. You got a larger roster to choose from.
Well, now you're putting Gunther in Cody's spot, so now you're putting Gunther out.
Gunther over on SmackDown.
To be in the same situation Cody's in?
But I think Gunther's strong enough that he can pull some of the people with him.
I don't know.
You know,
yeah.
Gunther and Kevin Owens, I think, would be a great match.
Could be. Yeah.
Could be. What do you think? What do you think, AG?
I think if the direction they obviously want to go, it feels like the Bloodline is more important than any other story. Championship, it doesn't matter. The Bloodline is their thing right now. They're running with it. Who was the main opponent of the Bloodline? Well, that was Cody. Do we all want to see it? I don't.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, everybody's waiting for the Civil War, which to break out.
Yeah.
And then here's another thing that you've got to think about. It's the middle of September right now. We are basically 2 months away from Survivor Series. And lately, they've been having war games at Survivor Series. And like you just said, their biggest storyline right now is the Bloodline. Who are you going to have in war games if you're going to have the biggest storyline involved in that war games?
Well, if they don't bring Jimmy back soon, it's going to be a combination of Cody and Roman plus friends versus the new Bloodline.
Exactly.
Who wants to see that? I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. But, I've also seen, and of course they're rumors, but I can see it happening, though. However this plays out on October the 5th at Bad Blood, between the four of them, we may see a triple threat match for the WWE Undisputed World Heavyweight Championship, with it being Cody Rhodes defending against Solo Sikoa yet again, and also Roman Reigns in that match.
Which show would that take place at, do you think?
Ooh. It's got to happen before Survivor Series. So whichever that pay-per-view that is in
October.
Well, that is Bad Blood. Yeah. That is Bad Blood. So maybe that happens on SmackDown.
Yeah. Roman doesn't really wrestle on SmackDown.
Unless they're planning, and I haven't seen it, don't quote me, but unless they're planning another pay-per-view between the beginning of October, Survivor Series is at the end of November, so it's really 2-month time frame right there. Let's say they do another one end of October. You know what? I just remembered. I just thought of it. I think it's at the end of October, beginning of November, Crown Jewel over in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, well, that would definitely be a match to have at Crown Jewel.
You think so?
But at that point, we're dealing with visas again, and it seems like the Bloodline always seems to have...
Solo's been to Crown Jewel.
Solo's been there.
Yeah.
Roman's been there.
Yeah.
But even recently...
Cody was there, too.
I think he's talking about the Usos. They
Yeah.
have traveling problems.
Oh.
The Usos, the Tongaloas have...
Well, Tonga Loa and Tama Tonga.
Is he cleared to...
Yeah, because they were in New Japan. They were in New Japan, traveling all over the place, up and down that whole East Asian coastline and stuff, all over the place, all the way down to Australia and New Zealand and everything. So I wouldn't think that they would have an issue or a problem, to be honest about it.
It's whatever, Crown Jewel is a bought show, so whatever the boss wants over there, they're going to get. If they want Cody versus Roman, they're going to get it.
True. Very true. And I think that's probably the one where we're going to see the triple threat match at.
Could be.
I mean, I'll be watching.
Well, yeah, for sure. Absolutely. The question is, though, who comes out of that? Let's say it does happen. Let's say it is going to be a triple threat. Who comes out as the winner on that one?
I don't think Roman needs the title. I don't know if Solo's ready for it yet.
Solo's not ready, but if they do go Roman, then it's going to be The Rock versus Roman at WrestleMania.
You don't need a title for that.
No.
I don't think
absolutely
so,
not. But see, then So with that being said, you're saying Cody Rhodes will retain.
I would say yes.
But who does he go? Who does he go over? Who does he get the pin on?
Probably Solo. Probably Solo because Roman's a babyface now. There's always been, the ones. There are fans throwing up the ones even when Roman was, the bad guy. Now he's full-fledged. He is loved. I don't know why. I don't know why everybody changed their minds all of a sudden. But he's full-fledged babyface now. Cody's not going to pin him.
Well, bottom line, Solo tried to take over being the tribal chief, and he's the original. So what are you doing stepping on my crown, boy?
Nobody liked the bloodline back then. It doesn't make any sense to me why Roman is loved right now. Not at all.
Well, he hasn't done anything to backstab anybody,
I guess.
But when he's by himself.
See, my problem with it, though, is how do you make it different? How do you make it, granted it's a triple threat, but how do you make it different than all the other times that Cody Rhodes has faced Solo Sikoa?
Well, you had Roman Reigns. It's different right there.
Does it?
I don't know.
Does it make it different, though, if it's still the same outcome?
You had somebody like a Paul Heyman, maybe.
That's what I've been wondering.
Yeah.
When is Paul Heyman going to come
nursing
back?
his wounds from being slammed through a table.
Yeah. I saw something else earlier this week, and I find this very interesting and very intriguing. There's a person that, so you remember Umaga. Umaga is the uncle to Solo Sikoa.
Yeah.
And the person that managed Umaga also managed Jacob Fatu in the past.
Yep.
And, of course, that rumor is that this person is going to come in and become the new wise man for the new quote-unquote bloodline.
I just saw that he signed a Legends deal.
Yes, exactly. That's what I was about to say. And, of course, I'm talking about Armando Alejandro Estrada.
You know what? I am really sick of the Bloodline story, to be perfectly honest, but they had Armando. I'm back in.
Really?
Yeah,
it makes that much of a difference for you.
He'll be their talking point. Him and Paul Heyman? Yeah, totally.
Wow, interesting.
Yeah, could you imagine those two going back and forth on a promo?
Oh. The question is,
the Battle of the Wise Ones.
We remember him, of course, but how many fans in the WWE remember Armando Alejandro Estrada?
He'll pull him back. You don't have to remember. They'll be like, who is this guy? They'll be captivated right away.
Yeah, and then they'll go to Peacock and go, look up this guy.
That's possible. That's very, very possible. Well, we've got about 30 seconds left in the show. Again, I want to thank the superfan, Tim Williams, for coming in.
Sunday.
Our referee, H.D. Daniels, thank you so much for coming in again. I am, of course, Sarge Phillips here in the new Gateway Fiber Studios, saying, thank you so much to all of you watching and listening, and go watch some wrestling.
Live from the Gateway Fiber Studios, online at gatewayfiber.com. News Radio 105.3, 1280 KYRO Troy. It's 12 o'clock in the Heartland.
Paul Stevens. Ohio Republican Governor Mike DeWine asked about allegations by former President Trump that Haitian migrants in Springfield, Ohio,